Have you ever wondered why some people naturally earn respect while others struggle to maintain it? Respect is the cornerstone of meaningful relationships, yet it is fragile and can be easily eroded by toxic habits. These aren't just small quirks, they are behaviors that undermine trust, weaken bonds, and affect how others perceive us. Today, we'll explore 4 toxic habits that silently destroy respect. These habits often go unnoticed until the damage is already done. But the good news is, by becoming aware of them and making mindful changes, we can transform our relationships and rebuild the trust we may have lost. As a practitioner of Buddhist philosophy, I've witnessed how powerful mindfulness can be in reshaping our behavior. Buddhism teaches us that every action, whether it's a word, a thought, or a deed, creates a ripple effect. Just as kind words and compassionate actions can foster harmony, unskillful habits like gossiping, being unreliable, interrupting others, and complaining can lead to conflict and disharmony. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward breaking free from them. Let me assure you, this is not about judgment but growth. I've made plenty of mistakes myself, and through those missteps, I've learned valuable lessons. These personal stories are not just reflections of my journey, but opportunities for us to learn together. In this video, we'll look at these toxic habits through the lens of mindfulness and Buddhist teachings, offering practical steps to overcome them. Imagine living a life where your words inspire trust, your actions reflect integrity, and your presence brings comfort to others. This isn't just an ideal, it's achievable. Through small, mindful changes, we can cultivate a life that earns genuine respect from those around us. So, grab a moment of quiet, take a deep breath, and let's embark on this journey together. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand these habits, but also be equipped with the tools to replace them with behaviors that nurture trust, compassion, and respect. Let's begin. Habit 1. Gossiping. Gossiping may seem harmless at first, just a casual conversation about someone who isn't there. But have you ever stopped to consider the weight of your words? Gossip can quickly spiral into a destructive habit, damaging trust and relationships. Buddhism teaches us about the power of speech, emphasizing the importance of practicing right speech, samavaka, to foster harmony and avoid creating harm through our words. I've had my own struggles with gossip. It's an easy trap to fall into, especially when the conversation feels lighthearted or amusing. But let me share a story that opened my eyes to the real harm it causes. Years ago, there was a friend in my social circle. Let's call her Emma. She was kind and introverted, often keeping to herself. One day, someone mentioned that Emma had a big dream of pursuing something that seemed, to us, unrealistic. Instead of supporting her ambition, I joined in the laughter, repeating the story to others. Word got back to Emma, and the hurt in her eyes when she found out was something I'll never forget. She distanced herself from our group, and it was clear that the trust she once had in me was broken. The Buddha taught that words carry immense power. They can uplift, heal, and unite, but they can also wound, divide, and destroy. Gossiping, no matter how trivial it may seem, often stems from insecurity or a desire to feel included. However, the damage it causes extends far beyond the person being discussed. It also reflects poorly on the one gossiping, revealing a lack of integrity and compassion. So, how do we overcome this habit? First, we need to cultivate mindfulness in speech. Before speaking, Ask yourself 3 questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If the answer to any of these is no, it's a sign to hold your tongue. Practicing silence when tempted to gossip is a powerful way to protect your own dignity and the trust others place in you. Second, redirect conversations toward positivity. If someone tries to draw you into gossip, shift the topic to something constructive or highlight the good in the person being discussed. This not only prevents harm, but also sets an example for others. Finally, reflect on the karma of your words. In Buddhism, karma is not just about action, but also about intention. Words spoken with kindness and compassion create positive energy that strengthens your relationships. In contrast, words rooted in malice or carelessness generate negative karma that can ripple through your life. Gossip may feel satisfying in the moment, but it's never worth the long-term damage it causes to trust and respect. By practicing right speech, we can foster an environment of kindness and integrity, ensuring that our words bring people together rather than tearing them apart. Habit 2. Being unreliable. Reliability is the cornerstone of trust. When you make a promise, no matter how small, it sets an expectation in someone else's mind. Breaking that promise isn't just a minor inconvenience. It can fracture relationships and erode respect. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of living with integrity, aligning our actions with our words, and being mindful of the commitments we make. Let me share a personal story that taught me the value of reliability. In my early 20s, I was known among my friends as the one who always canceled plans at the last minute. I thought it was harmless. Life gets busy, right? But one incident stood out and made me reconsider my actions. A close friend, Sarah, invited me to her birthday party. She had planned everything with care and excitement, and I promised to be there. But on the day of the party, something else caught my attention, and I decided not to go. Worse, I didn't inform her until hours after the event had started. When I finally called to apologize, her disappointment was evident. She said, "I counted on you." That hit me harder than I expected. Over time, our friendship drifted apart, and I knew my unreliability had played a big part in that. The Buddha taught us to live with right intention, samma sankappa, to act with honesty and purpose. Being unreliable often stems from overcommitting or prioritizing our convenience over others' trust. But every broken promise, no matter how trivial it seems, communicates a lack of respect for the other person's time and effort. How can we address this habit? Be honest with yourself and others. Don't make promises you can't keep. It's better to say no upfront than to disappoint someone later. Follow through on commitments. When you say you'll do something, treat it as a reflection of your character. Even small acts of reliability build a strong foundation of trust. Communicate proactively. If circumstances change and you can't fulfill a promise, let the other person know as soon as possible. Offer an alternative or solution if you can. In my professional life, I learned this lesson the hard way. Early in my career, I missed a major deadline because I had taken on too many tasks at once. My supervisor told me bluntly, "Your work is good, but people don't trust you to deliver." That moment forced me to reevaluate how I approached commitments. I began prioritizing quality over quantity and made it a habit to deliver on my promises consistently. Buddhist teachings remind us that every action we take shapes the trust others have in us. Reliability isn't about being perfect, it's about being accountable. When people know they can count on you, it strengthens bonds and creates a ripple effect of respect and integrity. Let reliability become your hallmark. Through mindfulness and deliberate actions, you can rebuild trust and foster relationships rooted in mutual respect and dependability. Habit 3. Interrupting others. Interrupting may seem like a small habit, but its impact can be profound. When we interrupt someone, we send an unspoken message. What I have to say is more important than what you're saying. Over time, this behavior erodes trust, creates frustration, and leaves others feeling unheard or undervalued. In Buddhism, the practice of right speech, samavaka, and mindful listening is emphasized as a way to foster respect and harmony in communication. I used to struggle with this habit myself, especially in group settings. I thought interrupting showed enthusiasm and engagement, but I quickly learned how dismissive it could feel to others. One experience, in particular, was a wake-up call. During a brainstorming session at work, I kept cutting people off to share my ideas. I thought I was contributing, but my interruptions disrupted the flow of the meeting. Finally, my manager stopped the discussion and said, "You're not listening, you're just waiting for your turn to speak." I felt embarrassed, but the real blow came afterward. A colleague pulled me aside and said, "Do you realize how dismissive you seem? It's like you don't think anyone else's ideas matter." That stung because it wasn't my intention, but clearly, it was how I was being perceived. Buddhism teaches us the value of patience, khanti, and compassionate listening. True listening requires us to be fully present and focused on the speaker, without letting our own thoughts or responses take center stage. When we interrupt, we break this connection and create barriers in our relationships. Here are some ways to overcome this habit. Practice mindful pauses before speaking. Take a moment to ensure the other person has finished their thought. This small pause creates space for understanding. Focus on the speaker's perspective instead of thinking about how to respond. Concentrate on fully absorbing their words. Acknowledge your tendency to interrupt. If you catch yourself cutting in, apologize and invite the speaker to continue. A deeply impactful moment happened when a friend was sharing their struggles with anxiety. I interrupted to offer my own experience, thinking it would help them feel understood. Instead, they looked at me and said, "Can I finish?" Their disappointment was clear. I realized that by interrupting, I had made their pain about me, rather than offering the space they needed to express themselves. Conversations are not competitions, they are opportunities to connect and understand. The Buddha taught that wisdom arises from listening more and speaking less. By practicing patience and mindful listening, we show others that their voice matters, fostering respect and deeper relationships. Habit 4. Complaining. Complaining often feels like a natural way to vent frustration, but it's a habit that can quickly become toxic. While occasional venting is human, chronic complaining creates an environment of negativity that drains not only your energy, but also the energy of those around you. Over time, it erodes respect and damages relationships. In Buddhism, the practice of right view, samadhi, reminds us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot, guiding us away from unproductive negativity. I once had a job that felt overwhelming. The workload was heavy, and the management disorganized. Instead of looking for solutions, I fell into the habit of complaining constantly. My coworkers initially sympathized, but over time, they began to avoid me. One day, a close friend said, "I love you, but your negativity is exhausting." That was a wake-up call. I realized that my constant complaining wasn't just affecting how others saw me. It was also keeping me stuck in a cycle of dissatisfaction. Buddhism teaches that suffering, dukkha, is an inevitable part of life, but our response to it is within our control. Complaining often stems from a fixation on problems rather than solutions. This creates a mental loop of dissatisfaction, preventing us from moving forward. The Buddha encouraged us to cultivate gratitude and mindfulness, shifting our focus toward what's going well rather than what's wrong. How can we break free from the habit of complaining? Cultivate gratitude. Start by acknowledging the positive aspects of your life. Each day, take a moment to reflect on things you're thankful for, no matter how small. Gratitude shifts your perspective and helps you see challenges in a new light. Focus on solutions, not problems. When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, what can I do to improve this situation? This proactive mindset replaces negativity with action and purpose. Practice mindful speech. Before expressing a complaint, consider whether it's constructive. If your words won't help solve the problem or uplift others, it's often better to remain silent. A turning point for me came when I started using mindfulness to catch myself mid-complaint. Instead of venting, I asked, what can I learn from this situation? Over time, this small shift transformed how I approach difficulties, making me more resilient and solution-oriented. Complaining may feel like a release in the moment, but it often keeps us stuck in the very circumstances we're trying to escape. By practicing mindfulness, gratitude, and constructive thinking, we can replace negativity with a sense of peace and purpose. When we let go of complaining, we open the door to deeper respect, both for ourselves and from others. Conclusion. Respect is not something we can demand. It is something we earn through consistent actions, thoughtful words, and mindful living. The four toxic habits we've discussed, gossiping, being unreliable, interrupting others, and complaining, may seem small, but their impact on our relationships and reputation can be profound. Recognizing these habits and working to replace them with positive behaviors is a journey worth taking. Buddhism teaches us that every action we take, no matter how small, creates ripples that shape our relationships and our inner peace. When we let go of gossip, we practice right speech, speaking words that unite rather than divide. By becoming reliable, we embody right intention, aligning our actions with honesty and purpose. Practicing patience and mindful listening allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, while gratitude and acceptance help us transcend the negativity of complaining. The path to respect begins with self-awareness. Ask yourself, am I living in a way that inspires trust and kindness? Am I embodying the values I wish to see in others? By making small, deliberate changes, we can transform our habits, foster meaningful relationships, and live a life rooted in integrity and compassion. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on these ideas. If this video resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Don't forget to like the video and share it with friends or family who might benefit from these teachings. Let's commit to this journey together and make respect a cornerstone of our lives. May you find peace, wisdom, and harmony in your path forward. Stay mindful, and may you inspire respect in all that you do.